My name is Nabona Fortunate. I welcome you to the show EMMACO Profiles, a show that brings to you different personnels from different departments. Could it be education, sports, entertainment, and so on? The show is basically giving you details about what are these people doing in their different fields, what are their hobbies, and so on. With me, with one of the biggest ladies in the literature department and is our very own. Let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Fortunate, for this great invite on this talk show. Good afternoon, viewers. Before you is Madam Laura Mungucci. I'm a teacher of English language and literature at Emmanuel College Kazo. Apart from being a teacher of English language, I am as well the head of department of English language and literature.
Okay.
I also partake a role as the patron debate club in this school.
Okay.
And I've also taken the role of being the patron prefect.
Okay.
It is really a great honor to be a teacher.
Yes.
It is interesting, and I believe it takes a lot of inspiration and commitment to be a teacher.
Okay, thank you very much. As you know, in life, people take on things of their interest. So, what inspires you into teaching and you actually base on literature and English?
English is an interesting subject, as you can see.
Yes.
First of all, it is a global language.
Yes.
And when people get to speak English, there is that force of attraction people get when they speak English. And when I link it back home, Africa, Uganda, bring it down to Emmanuel College. We have young souls who really want to speak this language. They may not know how to express themselves. So that ability and the will to inspire others is what actually inspired me. To see a young child speak, to see a young child express themselves freely in English language, to see a young soul write in English language, to see a young soul actually listen and pick what someone is speaking in English language is something interesting that has always inspired me. I actually picked more interest in English and literature when I was in my senior 4. Apart from having to see other young souls pick up English language as a language, I had my English teacher, Madam Gloria, wherever she is. Madam, thank you so much. She did inspire me.
Yes.
She was a great teacher. She was a guardian. She did so much to ensure that we passed English language, and I saw her as a role model. And when I reached the university, I must say, it was my first choice. I said, I have to become a teacher. I want to talk to other students. I want to see them do something different. Why don't they use English language to take through their cultures? So I believe that is one thing that inspired me.
So this is really interesting. So people are actually hearing English literature. So how can you break down those two words to a layman's understanding? Because at times there are different students doing such languages and they're actually having that negative energy. What is literature to us? What is it going to help you? So what is literature and English to a layman's understanding?
Thank you. It's true, many people confuse English and literature. When you tell someone I am doing literature, they assume they're already doing English. And when they do English, they assume they're already doing literature.
Yes.
And actually, there's a thin line between the two. Now, when we look at English itself, it is a language, just like any other language, Luganda, Kiswahili, Rutoro, Ronyankole. It is just like any other language we use for communication. However, with literature, for it is what someone has written and what you're going to read, what someone has written. For example, a poem, a novel, a play. Those are what we call literature because people write them. And then students and other people get to read what has already been written over time. And it started in the olden time. Then it came to the modern time. So that is what literature is all about. Now, why do we say literature in English? It is because the writing itself is in English language. That is why we say literature in English. That's why people seem not to understand the difference between the two. So the tool we use to write this language or speak literature or write literature is English language.
Okay. This is really good. Hope everyone is getting to know the difference because I was also getting confused. So, there are different learners in the country. They are doing literature at A level. And what can one do after excelling in literature? Because at many occasions, we take our combinations to the parents containing the literature subjects at A level. And they're like, what are you going to do after doing literature? So can you please throw more light on that? And also tell those parents that are actually giving the negative energy to the students that literature is really beneficial to them. Yes.
Literature as a subject. If I were a parent, I would actually want my student to start doing, or my child to start doing literature from senior one. Why would I want my child to do literature? One, literature touches every soul of the society. It doesn't matter whether you're a student of science, whether you're a student who is doing arts, it touches your soul. How does it touch us? Whatever people write about in literature are things that are happening in our society. Look at marriage. People are writing about marriage. So when people write about marriage, does that only touch a science person?
No, really.
It does not touch only a science person. It touches anyone who is a human being in the society. Literature portrays the evils that are happening in the society. Look at corruption, look at greed, look at selfishness, look at revenge, look at immorality, look at morality, look at leadership. All these things are part of literature, and it is what we all need to know. It doesn't matter. As long as you're a human being, literature will always touch us. So as a parent, if you allow your child to do literature, then the child would be more exposed to what is happening in the society. Two, literature gives a learner that mind to think beyond. Because if I asked you, is it okay for corruption to take place in the society? A learner will get down and think deeply. Will think corruption is not the right thing. I think we can improve on this in a better way. So it gives critical thinking and analysis for the learners. Now, going along the way from O level up to A level, if you do literature at A level in one of your subject combinations, there are so many privileges and opportunities you can do. Number one, if you do literature, you can become a lawyer. Remember, we talked of critical thinking and analysis, and that is what a lawyer does. A lawyer has to analyze what his clients are going through and critically think through it in order to get a soluble solution. Number two, a literature student can become a writer. Those who are inspired and they will wish to write, they have thoughts in their minds and they wish to put it in writing. And that is where you are. So instead of spending your time moving around, you're going to sit down and say, let me write. You can become a poet, you can become a playwright, you can become a novelist. We see people like Ngugi wa Thiong'o. These are all writers and they did literature and their works are selling in the society. As right now we are talking, we have one of their books and many others that are on the syllabus of literature. So how would we have read about this if they did not write them to us? Number three, we have media personnels. We have the news anchors. We have the journalists. Literature actually gives them that greater zeal to do such a kind of thing in the society. If you also do literature, you can also become a critic. You read into people's work, you find where errors are, and you critique them. And all that are inspirations from literature. And lastly, interpreters. When you know more than one language, say for example, you did not know English and you only speak, say, Luganda only. I should be able to speak to you in Luganda and interpret it to someone or interpret it to you in English. And all that becomes very easy for someone who does literature at a level.
In school, we are having different learners of literature, and literally they usually say these students, they show off, they feel what they are doing, and in the other way around, they love what they do. That is the fact. So how was you during your time of secondary or university as a literature learner?
Much as the myth, I don't want to say it's a fact, much as the myth is true, I must say I was such a calm girl and a calm lady when I arrived at campus. I wasn't that person who wanted attention, people should see me, what I should do. I was always calm. And if it's time for books, and in my books, I wasn't really so much into people should see me. So I was that a calm girl.
Our calm dearest. That is nice. So what are your achievements after doing literature? Have you written any books or anything else?
Well, I haven't written any text or any poem either. But right now, as a teacher, it is not only my role in the class. There are other things I can do with my literature and English outside classroom. One of them, to train learners to be good writers. And it is one of the things we do. You have to train the learners so that they can also become the novelists and the poets they can be. Number two, we have debate. So we train learners how to present themselves confidently and argue out in public and in speaking. That's what I can do.
This is really good. As we are closing our show, what are your closing remarks to the learners doing literature outside the country, not only Emmanuel College Kazo?
My dear students, parents, and all the listeners out there, what I can say is, in life, always go for what you want. As long as it is going to raise you above the sky, go for what you want and catch it. And one speaker said, no calm storm, no calm sea has ever trained a great sailor. So please, don't give up. Thank you.
Thank you, our dear viewers. This is how the show has been, and allow me say goodbye to you all.